Hello everyone, welcome to the last Prepper Fireside of 2024 that's actually in 2025 because I completely messed it all up because I was ill. So that's my fault on me, but you know, we're here, we made it. Brian, how you doing?
Good, mate. Good. All good.
I was going to say you're looking forward to New Year's Eve, but did you enjoy your New Year's Eve?
I watched crap on the telly until it hit about 5 minutes past 12 and went fuck it and went to bed.
That's it. That's the age we're getting to. That's the age we're at. Dave, did you do much for New Year's?
No, to be honest, mate, just literally chilling, watching crap movies, couple of scotches. That's it now.
There we go. Andy, did you go out partying hard?
No, mate, I went out for a meal. Mate. I went for an Indian, but I was back in for maybe 10 o'clock, and then I just saw the New Year home.
Yeah, this is the times we live in. It's too expensive to go out drinking, right? If nothing else, you know.
Too old for it, mate.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm still young enough in my mind.
Oh shit.
Just because the hangover lasts longer now. Yes, so we made it through 2024. That's the whole theme of here. Let's acknowledge the chat a little bit before we start. We've got Hawkins and John C in there, who are members. Hawkins, a new moderator as well. Sapper Prepper, Reese is in there, also members. Good to see you. Suburban Preppers in the house. RJ stands. Giving you new initials for the sake of Mr. Atom Miss Worm's in there, keeping everyone in check as always. We'll see a bit more of Miss Worm later with a little sneak preview of her channel. Rod Solar's UK is in there, Lady J, Sandy, loads of people in here, full of hope in the house. Good to see you here as well. Sorry if I miss your name. The chat goes too fast for me these days. We've already established we're all too old for this crap. So, Full of Hope just became a member as well. Much appreciated. Thank you, Full of Hope. Really is appreciated. So, loads to talk about this one, guys. Feel free to jump in at any point and change the order. But the first thing we're going to look at is one of the biggest news for the UK, whether you're a prepper or not, was, of course, the change of power. We all remember this.
There we go. Everything's gone red. Andy's doing a little Snoopy dance at the side of me. He's very happy indeed. Labour has won the 2024 election. Not only have they won, they have absolutely smashed it out of the park. It is what they call a Labour landslide, maybe a super majority. Certainly, Keir Starmer, a very happy man.
A super majority. So, right, if it's the majority, then at least 3 or 4 of us out of us 4 must be happy about Labour getting in power. Brian?
Nope.
Andy?
Nope, definitely not. No.
Dave, were you buzzing for Keir Starmer?
No, I've seen him on a punch bag. No.
Oh dear. Well, I mean, it is a massive change. I always say it's never that big of a change between the main parties. It's always slightly right or slightly left of centre. No one ever wants to rock the boat too much, but it seems like he has straight away, and he's a threat to a lot of things. when it comes to prepping, the farmers being one of them. Brian, do you think Labour getting in power is going to increase the amount of preppers we see?
I hope so.
Yeah.
That'll be the only good thing that they've achieved so far. It's, I mean, if people will say that the government doesn't dictate a prepper's mentality or whatever, but it does though, because you've got to be aware who's in power and what their policies are. Whether you agree with them or not, they're going to shape your life and your income. So I don't agree with that statement.
Yeah. Well, it's. I don't want to go too political. Obviously, we all have our own.
That was the reason.
Yeah.
That was the reason for mentioning it, because people will say that it's a prepper channel, prepper podcast, not a political one. I totally agree. However, the political environment shapes your life.
Of course, it does. You only have to look at America. If a Democrat, if a right wing gets in power, the left wing preps. If the left wing gets in power, the right wing preps. It's just preppers come from all walks of life. Dave, does the political standing of the government make any difference to your prepping?
No. If I'm honest with it, mate, it's like, and obviously I choose my words carefully with everything I say, but I think they're all as bad as each other. To be honest, I think it's like the people above them call the shots, whether it's like Labour and whether it's Conservative. And what I notice with it, because as you know, I don't really do politics, I don't watch the news a lot. But what happens is Conservative getting, who was it? Rishi Sunak, Roland Rat. He was in there, and literally, he started like putting all these procedures in place that were affecting the British people. So they were going to vote him out to get labouring because they think that it's a better option and the grass is greener. But it's all by design. They're going to get Conservative out, so they make Conservative look bad, so Labour look good. All of a sudden now Labour look bad, and it'll be Conservative again. It's like a constant cycle of bollocks.
Well, I don't know. We could see a sudden interruption in that two-party system, hopefully, with a lot more support coming a different way. Yet to be seen. Andy, does Labour getting in power change the way you think about prepping at all?
No, and I don't think it's going to inspire any more preppers, mate. Either. I think you're either a prepper by now or you're not. I really don't think governments changing sways people's mind. And like Brian spoke about before with the state of the national grid, irrespective of who's in power, that's still in shit state. So irrespective of who's in power, I would still prep.
Yeah. Just having a look in the comments, see if anyone said anything. Miss Worm said, I've never actually met a left-wing prepper. Yes, you have, and you've watched him on my channel. You just don't know. We will discuss later, Miss Worm. You may be surprised how many left-leaning preppers there are. This is very true. I mean, it's like I say, it's prepping's common sense. It should surpass politics, right? You guys said in the Goonies voice. Evening chunk. Vote for Scottish Prepper, aka Raving Looney. Thank you there, Brian, for the £2 super chat. Appreciated. Right, we'll quickly skirt over the next one, which is also politics, because I know we all want to get politics out of the way. But this one was slightly different, because obviously it's the American politics side of things, and it was Trump winning. I mean, I don't think you had to be a mastermind to realize that was going to happen, because you could see the support. Despite the media trying to push one way, it went the other way. The icing on the cake must have been this moment, and I'm sure we all remember this from this year. political gold. That moment he got to stand up and say fight and shake his fist. Yeah, I knew he'd won that election at that moment. Brian, apart from being disappointed we don't have people to take pot shots at some of the less desirable politicians over here, how much influence do you think moments like that have had on the election over there?
Oh, life-changing. It's it won him the election. But it was a 2-horse race, and one of the horses had Alzheimer's, so there was only ever going to be one winner.
Yeah, but they replaced the Alzheimer's horse with the... I don't know what the other horse was.
Let's the horse's arse. Let's be honest. Neither of those two guys you would trust with putting batteries on your Sky remote control. That's the state of politics in the West. That's what we've got to. He's the best option. The Whig is the best option. Go figure.
It's gonna make America great again, Brian. Have faith. Have faith. Dave,
I'll tell you one thing. Sorry,
go on.
I was going to say, see, looking at the footage though, there was no hole in his ear until he went below the podium when he's bundled up. Then he comes up and his security detail are so concerned, they leave him standing there for about 4.5 seconds, then let him expose himself to a headshot and do cry freedom, and then usher him off. Who does that? That doesn't even look right.
Because throw your conspiracy to the side. They pinned him down. Somebody in the ear probably said shoot her down because he got taken down straight away, and that's when they've let him stand up.
Didn't know how many shooters there were, though. There could have been multiple shooters.
Well, you know, he saw that as a great political moment. So,
or somebody nipped his ear underneath the podium.
Come on, can you can't. No, honestly, you can't possibly think that, because can you imagine if it was caught on this day and age, the amount of people have cell phones and cameras and stuff like that? If it was caught happening, that would have been his career completely over. It wasn't worth the risk. It happened. You can see freeze frames of the bullet midair.
Yeah, and they still believe that a bullet shot Kennedy and bounced back in 3 different directions as well. So we'll take that with a pinch of salt. That was filmed.
No, Kennedy shot himself. Red Dwarf crew took him back and put him on the grassy knoll. I saw that episode.
Sorry, I digressed.
Dave, do you follow the American political scene? Because I do think it does have a big world impact, not just in the States.
I think to be honest, I think it's like I'm the same with. I find the American politics amusing. I find it like a show, like a big stage, and it's like everything with America. It's like overhyped and like it's really good fun. Do you know what I mean? It's like Brian said, you got the bloke who's walking in different directions, dribbling and soiling himself, and then you got Donald Trump, the aging playboy, who's just like. And before that, it was Hillary Clinton, weren't it? You've got to choose between these two people, and it's like. It's insane because, to be honest, it's like, yes, it's entertaining. Yes, it was a good moment in politics, but is it all for show? I think it is. I think it's like when you look deeper into the politics and stuff. I'm with Brian on the conspiracy side of it, but it's I think they're all kind of manufactured to create the division in the countries that they're in. I mean, look how divided the UK is. Look how divided America is. And this is all by design. Now, Donald Trump, to me, I think he's hilarious. I think he's like, I would rather him than dribbling Joe Biden, because it's entertaining. So it's like, I think from my point of view, I think it's still all a stage and it's all a show. But why we've got these beta males that we're all following, I don't know. It's like, even in the UK, all these countries,
It's the way it's been. It's the way it's been for a long time. We follow money, not strength anymore.
I mean, what happened to when the guy would stand in the front, the leader would stand at the front of the battle, big fucking beefy guy, excuse the French, big beefy guy that's ready to fight for his country and his people. These guys can't even do anything. Do you know what I mean? You go and put them on a day's work, put them in a boxing ring, do anything constructive or physical. They are typical beta males. And we follow them. Well, I don't, but it's like people do. You know,
pay your taxes, be a good boy.
pay your
That's all.
taxes, steal a turnip, and we'll execute you.
Andy, the Trump assassination. Did you watch that when it was all going on? What did you think of that whole debacle?
To be fair, man, I thought he had one before that happened. I didn't win from the outset. There was no way on this planet, mate. As the guys have said, Dribbly Joe or Kamala Harris was going to beat him. He genuinely was the best of the options that they had. So even before the assassination attempt, I had him winning it.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing for America with the options that were there? Yeah,
it's he was definitely the best out of the people you had to pick from. But then again, that's not saying much. I mean, it's not saying much. It was just the best option that they had available. Yeah.
Welcome to politics worldwide. Picking the lesser of the evils. That's all we do. Let's step away from politics. Yes. And let's step into Brian. No.
Oh, wow.
Going to need big shoes, mate.
That's interesting. That's an interesting thought.
Well, no, I thought you could lead the charge on this one, Brian, and save my throat a little bit. Just tell us about the whole power line sabotage and the incidents that's happened over this year, because I know you've done videos on it and stuff, so you've probably got a better insight. Plus, I'm about to cough me guts up.
There's been numerous instances of dragged cables. There's been lots of cyber attacks and lots of large national, multinational and governmental institutions for 2024 right through. We are now looking at spending £52 billion till 2035 on improving the infrastructure. Off the back of that, we're going to put more interconnectors running from the north to the South England and a couple of new ones across. We do not produce enough power. We're not even close to being able to. I'm going to put a video on later about it, but basically, they're predicting, the government's building and predicting we'll need something like 500 gigawatts of power per year by 2035. The industry bodies and regulators and other companies have come up and said it's about 800. So the truth might be somewhere in the middle. But when you look at the lead time of a nuclear power station, it's like 10 years. And then you look at the fact that the last one's 12 years overdue that we started building. And it's something like 23 billion over budget. These are the people that you're trusting to build and secure your power networks going forward. And that's before people start dragging anchors across the ground. And that's before you start hacking the infrastructure and the switching stations. So, yeah, that's a worry for me. That's a worry.
So the dragging anchors across the ground, obviously, is what's happened 2 occasions now, at least. Not by accident, clearly. I mean, is that a prelude to something bigger? Like, is that trying to take down communications and powers and disrupt before something bigger, do you think?
It's a boiling frog analogy. Have you heard about the boiling frog? So what you can do is you'll put a frog in water and the frog doesn't know you're trying to kill it because you put the temperature up slowly, and then you kill the frog, it boils to death, right? And it never knows what's happening. We are in grey asymmetric warfare where we're being boiled alive. We're never reaching the point that will precipitate military option, right? They're just taking little bites, little nibbles as we go. And that's what we're kind of doing now. We are the boiling frog. The West is a boiling frog.
We don't condone boiling of any small animals or insects at all on this channel, just so you're aware. Andy, boiling frogs aside, the threats to the grid, it's my biggest concern, I think, at the moment. Despite, World War III breaking out all around us, I feel like it's the biggest potential, more likely to happen. What's your thoughts on it? I know you've started invested in the power systems as well, same as
definitely, mate. I think I said when we did our prep podcast together, that was my number one concern. Brian's very knowledgeable on it, mate, so I always listen to him and defer to him when we're talking about stuff like this. But for me, out of all the things we talk about over the year, or how long we've been doing this together, the power grid is the number one thing. And I think, you know, when you look in the comments, when you read, when you see people engaging with us, that's what a lot of people are concerned about. Because, you know, like Brian said before, they want to push the EV side of things, but we've got an infrastructure to supply the EVs. It's decades old. Like Brian just said there, 12 years over, 23 billion over. So, and I think the worst thing about it is, mate, it's so fallible, and it will be so easy to damage and disrupt, which is the scary thing. I mean, if it was 20-year-old, but it was impenetrable and it was really secure, that would be one thing. But the fact it's just wide open is the most terrifying thing.
Terrifying, wide open 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Dave?
Well, I've got to be honest, it's not something I worry about. I'm a bit different to you guys. It's like, I understand the threat. I totally understand the threat of it. But I think, and our society is so reliant on power for everything at the moment. But it's like, I kind of like to think old school. And I think if the power going off for me would actually be nice. No TV, no internet, no telephones. You know, it's like having to go back to the old school skills is what I'm based or what we're about. So we're not worried about that. You know, I think the grid goes down. You know, it happens. We had a power cut literally a couple of years back, and the power went for about 7 hours. And I could see everyone going outside in the street, looking around. What's going on? What's going on? I literally got my stove out. I'm having a nice cup of tea. You know, it's just chilling out, reading a book. And it's, I managed to cook my dinner. Man, I had water stored. It's like I had no worries whatsoever. And I think the problem is, I think it's mindset and it's no one's fault because we're programmed into this from a young age. At a young age, we sat down and watched telly. You know, we listened to the radio. Then we had our Amstrad computers in the old days because I'm an old man. You know, but it's like, so we're so reliant on power. It's like even us doing this now. You know, it's like it's everyday stuff to us. It's like my daughter getting up and watching telly in the morning. You take that away, I think we have to start getting in the mindset from a prepper point of view of being able to cope outside the system. And I don't think enough people think outside the system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think from a prepper's perspective, you're 100% right. And I think a lot of us have that kind of thought path. I think the threat comes from all them people you're on about outside going, oh, is your power off, Jeff? Is your power off, Bob? You know, and stuff like that for 7 hours.
Yeah.
When do they start to turn nasty? Because, you know, it's all friendly in the first, 24 hours. They're all like, haha, this is a good laugh. Let's play Monopoly. I'll light my 3 leftover birthday candles from the cake because that's all I've prepped, you know. But once all that's gone, that's where the threat comes, right?
I think it is. And I think the thing is, Mike, I think it's like it's a knock-on cycle. So when you prepare, so say, for instance, you prepare for a power cut, you've also got to prepare for water and food shortages because they're going to go hand in hand with it. Then you're also going to have to prepare for the bodies on the street. They're going to come and try and take your stuff. You know, so it's a knock-on effect. So like your prepping doesn't just, when people say they're prepping for either a solar flare or a grid down or whatever they're prepping for, it doesn't end there. It's not just a power supply, having a backup power supply. It's about knowing how to get food, having food stored. It's like having water, knowing how to source water. It's like having protection, knowing what to do. And it's a cycle of things that can go on and on and on.
Yeah. And just mitigating for something very specific, like you say, like just replacing the power source and then not doing anything else to prep. You're just setting yourself up for failure there, right?
Yeah.
So when Brian's solar all fails, we'll all go and raid his pies. Not a euphemism.
Everybody likes an optimist.
So, sorry. Last thing on this, then, come to you, Andy, on this as well. Do you think the sabotage to them power lines and stuff like that? Do you think that's a direct threat to the UK grid because it is quite far away from us at the moment? They're not really on the same lines that affect us at the moment.
True, mate. But I'm sure it was Brian who said last time we import a lot of our electricity. We import a lot of our. So if one of those lines gets cut that we rely on, albeit it might not be, in UK, it might be in a different country. But if that gets cut and we rely on that power being transported here, it directly affects us.
Yeah, it's a knock-on effect, I suppose.
Sorry, it's also, Andy, isn't it? I suppose, like, if we're looking, say, for instance, like we've got power cuts, like you say, in other countries, and we're getting supplies from this country. Because
exactly, mate, yeah.
England isn't self-sufficient at all. So we're getting all our food from different countries, bits and pieces, our oil. And if we're relying on that to come into our country, that could literally shut our country down. And that is the threat to a lot of people. So
massively, mate,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna go into the comments now. Full of Hope says World War III would be bad, but the fact that we're all being handed over on a platter is horrid. It's true. Nobody's coming to save you. I've made a T-shirt that says that. Some parts of the UK have -12 Celsius temperature polar winds over the next few days. Interesting. I assume that's just the Highlands or near Brian somewhere.
In Kent, we don't get nothing.
Yeah. As preppers, we need to look at the alternatives like energy independence instead of relying on the powers that be and divert it for themselves. 100%. Couldn't agree with you more. Banned again. People will go raving bonkers after a week of no grid.
Few days, yeah.
3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
3 days. 3 days.
Yeah.
Any raises on 3 days?
To be fair, mate, I think it would be pretty much instant. Like as soon as the grid goes off, mate, and you've got and places have no backup. You've seen with the riots. I know we'll touch on that later. But the instant the power goes off, alarms go off, CCTV goes off. All the people, mate, who want to take stuff will just go up and take it. It'll be instant. They won't be waiting 3 days. They'll be in Tesco taking the 65-inch sharp TVs.
Right.
Somebody in the chat said that. They'll be stealing TVs when the power's out.
Yeah, we've said it before. That's the kind of thing. Somebody's going to sit there starving to death with so many Curry's TVs in the front room, wondering when eBay will come back so they can make a couple of quids. Mr. Atom Blue says 2 weeks it'll be the Hunger Games. Yeah, right. I'm scrolling through. If I miss your comments, I do apologize, guys. I do try and pick up what I can. In Ireland, I'll be living on spuds. There you go. Well,
grow your own food.
Grow your own food. Yeah, 100%. If you can, do. I'm just waiting for, somewhere to grow it because she's not going to let me start growing it in the house. That's one step too far, I think.
Just grow weed in the house and then sell it and buy tons.
I was about to say that.
We don't advise any of this stuff, right? This is Brian's yet another. Any donations and memberships are really appreciated because Brian constantly demonetizes us with boiling frogs and growing cannabis. That's the advice.
Obviously, that's a tongue-in-cheek comment.
Yeah. Could Brian do a video on fitting solar panels? Get up on roof, Brian.
It's on my to-do list. I've been buying large ones for when I finish building the workshop next year. I'll do a 2,000 watt array on the shed.
Even better, can't they come and see you do something with them in person at the prepper meet?
Come to the prepper meet. I'm going to do power bank demos and building your own solar system demo as well. A basic one.
There you go.
Impressive.
You don't want to miss that one. Right. Other news, obviously. We'll this is where YouTube kicks us all off.
The barrels thrown at police, cars on fire, and the shouting of Islamophobic slurs. These were the scenes in Sunderland on Friday, as a mob of anti-immigrant protesters clashed violently with officers outside a mosque. It is one of a dozen protests planned by far-right supporters following a mass stabbing in Southport that killed 3 young girls and is fueled by anger over the tragedy and online disinformation about the attacker's Muslim background.
Far right protests. Far right protests over some innocent little girls being killed. Is that far right, Brian? To protest against something like that?
No, I think the big problem was there was lots of protests from, no matter whether it was left or right side, there was assholes on the street causing trouble, not protesting, and extremists from all sides took advantage to set their stall out. Unfortunately, the media, being as it is, looked at which way the wind was blowing and decided to just pick on one demographic.
Yeah. Well, I think they've got an agenda, the media, but you know, that's another story altogether. Andy, the riots and the protests, the fact it was took over by Yobs trying to destroy Greggs. I will defend Greggs next time with my life. Before all that, the genuine protests and the genuine show of solidarity in the UK, I thought was quite moving. I thought it was quite, good to see. It's nice to see that many England flags when it's not the World Cup. So, but I mean, to be instantly branded far right and then these massive prison sentences being thrown down on them, it dealt with wrong completely, right?
Yeah, massively. And I think it comes back to what Dave mentioned earlier. When you have people who don't have any leadership qualities and who are beta males running the country, that is what you get. That was the result, mate. Like when you see people like Hugh Edwards get let off from those category A images of kids being abused, and then you have old men being put in prison for shouting at a police dog. Like, I don't know anybody, mate, on either side of the political aisle who agrees with any of that.
I don't know anyone on this planet that would agree with that, to be fair. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Dave, did you see much of the riots? You stay away from the mainstream media a bit, but you couldn't have avoided that, surely.
No, it's the thing is with this in our country is I like the way when you go, Dave, you take a deep breath when it's anything like that.
I'm just struggling to breathe. Don't worry, it's fine.
No,
I'll put my disclaimer across the bottom for you.
I think the thing is in this country and a lot of countries, we have a migration problem. We know that, right? The problem is a lot of people are calling it an immigration problem, and they're saying these immigrants and that. This is where they're getting in trouble, because an immigrant is someone who travels a war-torn country and is in need of help. These are migrants that are being moved. There's maneuvers and moving these people about. And the problem is you're always going to get somebody that's a wrong one, even a few of them, in these people that are coming across. And I saw it before. There was a stabbing a few years ago, I think, and it was they put him down as a Muslim, but the problem was he wasn't a Muslim. He was a Somalian. He was from Somalia, right? So the problem is here we have to have intelligence as well as, but rather than go, do you know what? He's an immigrant. He's come on a boat. He's killed someone, right? There's this just don't happen. Do you know what I mean? There's these people are coming across. There's some proper wrong-uns coming across with them. And the only reason I say this is because I know I've got family to work on border force and work in the detention centres. And I've heard quite a few stories, which I'm not going to go into now, about how they're coming across, what's happening on the way across. But the problem is, what it's going to take is when it becomes to our children, as English people, our children are our lives. Do you know what I mean? If you're a parent, it's like my daughter. I would die for my daughter, and it's and the same with all of you and your kids and most people. And the thing is when something like this happens, it's understandably going to get a reaction from people. It's I could sit here and this. It's but the problem is like you say, you're going to get the arseholes that get involved. And to be honest, Mike, a lot of the times they're paid for. They pay for. I've got friends that used to run with them, and they're called Rent a Riot. So basically, they go, "We've got a protest coming up. Go and interfere with that protest." Does that make sense? So
to give us a reason to send in the busies.
Exactly. So basically, and what they do as well, they go, I want you to go in waving English flags or Trump t-shirts or whatever, right? So then the media can go, look at all these Trump supporters, and look at all these right wingers, and it's actually not, because the right wingers are genuinely in protest and not kicking off. They're just angry, obviously, because of what's going on. And then you'll get this renter riot that'll come in and they'll literally kick a shitstorm up. And they'll hang around with the right wingers, and
I know people that think the same sort of thing was to be said for the Capitol building storm in the States when Trump lost the election that time. And they said it was a similar sort of thing there, and nobody knew who certain people were. It's like, well, he's not part of our group, where's he come from, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned Full of Hope just gifted 10 memberships to the channel, so thank you very much, Full of Hope. That's really appreciated. That's awesome. In the comments, we have Lady J says, get a window box mic. I'll have a look at that. Try not to bury the kids in it. Brian, come and fit mine for me, says Steve-O. There you go.
Please tell me we're talking about solar panels and not butt plugs.
Nobody out loud, just in your mind, mentioned anything but solar panels.
Mike, don't be naive. We were all thinking it, right?
Wow.
Welcome to the serious proper fireside.
Hey, you've got to have a laugh, eh?
Sapper Prepper UK says, I've already got my ticket. He's going to see us down there at the Prepper meet in Scotland, where we're going to do a live Preppers Fireside. So that should be fun. Hopefully, we won't have Miss Worm there to marshal the audience, so we'll have to have a digital presence of her there.
And why not?
I can't afford her fees, Brian. I can't afford her fees. She's too expensive.
Jump in the car, Miss Worm.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know how much you go into this really with the riot side of things. I mean, if anybody else wants to say anything on it, by all means, jump in. My only gripe with the whole thing was it feels like in the UK we do this thing where it's like, I don't know about you guys, but before they started burning shoes on and robbing Greggs, it felt like, hang on, something might happen, something might change, this might get noticed, but then it disappears. It gets harshly dealt with the sentence, and then it's gone.
Yeah, the thing is, Mike, as well, if you look at history in UK, we had the EDL marches, we've had the London riots, we've had all sorts of stuff going on. Nothing ever changes. And the reason it don't change is because they won't allow it to change. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no matter, you could get, and I said this to someone, I said, like, you could get, how many people are there in the UK at the moment? How many?
60 million, I think.
Yeah. 60 million, right? I said, you could get 30 million of them, go to the streets and be unhappy and literally walk through the streets and protest, and it wouldn't make a difference, because these people up there don't give a shit about the people. And this is where you need to realize, and people need to realize, that nobody again is coming to save you unless people take it to the next level, which I don't condone either. Do you know what I mean? It's very difficult to get change when the people, the beta males, the gammas above you, they literally just sit there and they're laughing at you. They're just like, well, what can they do? They're not going to do anything. Right, they shut London down. Right, let's send in troops. We'll sort it out. I think we live in a society, because I'm the same. I remember with the London riots, something's going to change. Something's going to change. Like, the society is going to probably unify people after, and people are going to say, same with COVID. I honestly believe that people after COVID would see what it actually was. And now people are. If you look on the NHS sites and stuff like that, the comments is like phenomenal. It's like you got thousands and thousands of people that are literally not condoning the whole thing. But yeah. I totally get what you're saying about you kind of hope for a better future, and I don't think that you can never have peace without war. And this is the problem, so it's like, Is it going to take war on the streets to bring peace on the streets? Is that what it's going to take? Who knows?
I wouldn't like to say yes or no, but it's scary to think that that's what it would take. It's scary to think that's what it would take.
Yeah.
The boiling frog doesn't just apply to power.
Stop killing animals, please.
He's totally right, though. It is totally right. Because we have been in a boiling pot, Brian, for like a long time now. You know, and it's like little push, extra taxes, take away some of your freedoms, take away like some of your liberties. It's like, you know, you can't do this, you can't do this. And it's like, and we're getting to the point, we are one of the most, believe it or not, we're kind of a luxury country because we have everything we need, but we are the most restricted, one of the most restricted countries in the world, one of the most highly taxed countries in the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is.
It is painful. It's genuinely, and it's people are like, it's inflation, but you look at inflation, the actual costs of food compared to inflation. You look at the percentage wage rises have gone up compared to the cost of living. Nothing adds up. Nothing is in line at all. The scales, the numbers are all way out of whack. It's unreal.
But the people that matter, the people up there, are doing all right.
Yeah, no, I don't know how. I mean, when I lived on my own at one point, I had a minimum wage job working in a factory, right? When I was like a young lad, and I survived, paid rent, everything, paid my bills, no problems, still had enough money to go out for a few drinks on a Friday and a Saturday night. I don't know how anyone does that now. I think the gas bill would take up that entire wage. I don't know how anyone gets by on minimum wage. I really don't.
I mean, you saying that, Brian, it's like my fuel bill at the moment is £400 a month just for my fuel for my house.
Believe
electric and gas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I believe it. I'm stuck on meters because they won't let me change them, and they just cost even more than any bill ever would. Yeah.
When we still had gas, our gas bill was about, call it $280, $290 a month on average, plus electricity on top of it. The best thing we ever did was get rid of the gas and put in a heat pump, but only in conjunction with solar and batteries. Now, it's all right saying that. It's brought our energy bills down on average between, this year's been worse, £90 a month. Last year was £60 a month on average for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But still a 35 grand bill to get to that stage. That's a lot of gas bills to pay that back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the cost of living is the biggest impact that anyone's had at the moment.
What they should do is give a subsidy. Sorry.
No, I was going to ask Andy this opinion because he's just took a career jump at a stage when cost of living is quite a difficult thing. So, what's your thoughts on all that, Andy? Cost of living at the moment?
Between me and my partner, we earn quite a lot of money. We live quite comfortably. In a very fortunate position. My partner has a really good job. And I left my job 11th of December, but I start a new one, mate, on Monday, and it's more money than what was on last time. So I haven't really felt, I haven't really felt the pinch, mate, really. No. But I appreciate, mate. I'm in a very, very privileged position because I know a lot of people who aren't as fortunate, and it is a real struggle for them. Yeah.
Well, it'll all change when the kids come, Andy. It'll all change. You enjoy that privileged position. They take it all away. Right now, I'm going to take a quick break and play an advert for you. An advert. No, it's not. It's not. I'm not Canadian Mikey. I'm not begging for your money. This is for our awesome moderator, Miss Worm, who needs some acknowledgement. So I needed to sell her channel a little better. So if this is the kind of thing that interests you, go and give her a subscribe. There we go. You got to acknowledge their hard work somehow. So, Miss Worm, I hope the check's in the post for that. Let's go on to something we can all prep for now, which we've all probably felt in some way or another. So hopefully we can all have an opinion on this, but let's just see what I'm talking about.
The first death of Dara was declared in Lancaster. A man was killed as a tree fell onto his van as it drove down the dual carriageway. This is the danger of these fatal forces that have left 400,000 homes without power in Ireland and almost 90,000 across England, Scotland and Wales. The storm grew in the early hours of the morning, with Wales most at risk and subject to a red warning. Here the government deployed emergency alerts to every mobile device for the first time. These messages warned recipients to stay at home to avoid these winds.
The alert system that I'm sure you've all got switched on and registered on your phones because you're all good little obedient citizens. So we're not talking just about Dara. Throughout the year, we had Storm Ashley, the 20th of October, 2024. Storm Bert, 22nd of November, which went on for 3 days, Bert. Storm Connell, which was the 27th, and Storm Dara, the 5th of December. There's probably other ones in between, but that was like the big ones that led to flooding and stuff like that. Now, the good thing about this is we all live in completely different necks of the woods. So, Andy, what did you see of these storms?
To be fair, mate, mainly up here, it was mainly wind, and it did do quite a bit of damage in terms of it took quite a lot of trees down. It took quite a lot of garden fences down. So it caused a fair bit of damage that way. But I mean, I put braces on all my fences out the back, and I put some on the old girl next door. She's only so I braced all her fence up for her. So I was all right, mate. We ended up seeing it through, but it was mainly the wind damage, mate, up here that was the worst thing.
What made you do the bracings? Was that just preempting the weather in general, or was it like?
Yeah, it was purely preemptive, mate. Like a couple of the fences, like most things, mate, like all of us need replacing, and I seen it was given. There was a bit of give in the fence posts, and I thought it took me maybe an hour to do 5 fences, and I thought if I spend an hour and all 5 fences are still up at the end of it. It was a no-brainer, and it was an easy fix.
Definitely. Dave, you're more down south. I mean, you already suffer with the price of a pint down there, but did you suffer any with the storms?
Price of everything, mate. Price of everything.
Yeah, when you're shopping Waitrose, Dave, then
Well, but the thing is like, before I go on to that, like looking to buy land in Kent. Something like 15 to 20 grand an acre.
Yeah.
Now you go up north, it's like 4 or 5 grand an acre. It's like mad. But anyway,
yeah.
Storm. To be honest, because we live right on the coast, I'm literally 5 minutes from the coast. So we do get a lot of high sea winds come in. But I've got to be honest, the worst trouble I had was my little greenhouse. My little house where I grow my peppers blew over. It was like, we don't really get stuff bad in Kent. At the moment, we've got like gale force winds and rain outside. But it's not anything that's going to cause us any problems. But definitely, I think if you're susceptible to bad weather, it's definitely worth preparing for that. You know.
But you didn't have any.
It could get worse.
Yeah. Well, it's going to, by all accounts. Global warming and all that. Brian, you're in more of a volatile area technically. The further north you go when it comes to winds and that, did you see much of these storms?
Not anything uncharacteristically bad. A few extra power cuts and things, but I planned for it years in advance. I just got really, really fat so that I can't be blown over by the wind. So I'm sorted.
This is not a prep we advise. Again, disclaimer across the bottom. Jesus Christ.
I wibble, but I don't fall down.
Christ. That's a t-shirt. I'm gonna get a t-shirt. I'm gonna make a t-shirt within the merch
It's a big
store.
t-shirt.
Scottish Prepper 73 is going to be across the bottom, and it's just going to say, I wibble, but I don't fall down. That's it. It only comes in XL, XL, XL.
Just put the X's right around the back, mate. That's easier.
Yeah. So, I mean, the storm's massive impact on the grid in general. And it also showed us how quickly
Vulnerable.
to fix they are not. Yeah. Some people
920,000. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, go on.
920,000 people without power for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that was for the get-go.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can register for you're a vulnerable person, you need something for a CPAP machine or whatever it is. That's great, but if there's trees down, nobody's coming to get you, no generators have been dropped off, and it boils down to everything that we've always said, you've got to look after your own shit.
Yeah.
Thing is, Brian, as well, isn't it? It's like when shit goes down, and if the emergency services provide service like water and food and stuff like that, it's going to be chaos because everyone's going to want to go and do it. And now this is where, the same as you're saying there, Brian, people have got to start taking responsibility for theirs and their families' futures, you know, in case of an emergency. Because even due COVID, I weren't out there buying toilet rolls. I weren't fighting security guards for a couple of rolls of bog roll. It's like,
it was all done.
I didn't have to go out. I was sorted with everything, you know. So it's like, let all the idiots go out and do their stupid stuff to each other. And then I'll come out when they're...
I just thought Dave didn't need to go out and fight people for toilet rolls, but he did anyway.
Can you imagine that conversation? Just take the toilet roll. It's not about the toilet roll.
But I mean, you're saying them numbers about how many people got cut off, but I think it was like after 7 days, there was still thousands of people that had been without power for a week.
2,300.
Yeah, exactly. That's insane that many people are out without power for a week. But I'll ask you, Andy. People were so fickle when it came to the whole lockdown thing that as soon as it was all over, they all forgot about it and went back to, you know, living with a day's worth of supplies in the house. Surely them 2,300 people must all be preppers now, right?
I don't think they will be like Dave just said there. This element, mate, of wanting to be self-sufficient and relying on yourself and look after your family is the thing, mate. That's like a bygone. It's like a weird. It's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a weird mindset for people to adopt. And as soon as that power goes back on, mate, those 7 days that they've been without power, like you say, just they won't remember. It'll just be a figment, and they'll go back to doing putting the head down, putting the head in the stand, and just cracking on. I really don't understand, mate. Like all the things we discuss on here, I don't understand, mate, why everyone isn't one. To be honest with you, some element, even something as simple as what Brian said there. If a massive oak tree comes down, how on earth do you think the fire engine's getting through, or an ambulance, or?
How do you break that it'll never happen to me mentality though?
I don't think you do that. I generally think you either have it and you come here and you're in the chat, or you don't. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's.
No.
Mm-hmm. It's weird though, isn't it, Andy? As you're saying, because I mean, we try and do everything we can. Even though we got electricity, we got power, we still sometimes make our own butter. We make our bread daily. We grind our own wheat. You know, we still go foraging. We still grow our own food. We can still go to Waitrose and buy it. Sorry. We can still go to the shop and buy our own food. Do you know what I mean? But like, we can still do that. But we choose to live a life that now, if anything bad happened, it wouldn't be such a drastic effect on us. You know, we wouldn't have the telly or the internet, but we'd still have bread every day. We could still cook bread in like ovens that we make outside. You know, it's and I think this is the problem, that if something goes down, people are not going to be. This is what will kill people. I'll be honest with you. This is what will kill people. They have no knowledge of basic, primitive skills and traditional skills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like the water goes down tomorrow. where's the nearest place you're going to get water from that's drinkable?
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know? A lot of people
Yep.
won't know, you know,
Yeah.
so it's like, you know, it's like, where are you going to go for food? Do you know where to forage? And it's all right with us, but a lot of people won't have a clue where their nearest lake is, what to forage, what to do, you know, how to make their own bread, how to make their own butter.
But I mean, if you look up my, like, so if you look up like the window, I'm in my games room at the minute, but if you look at my window, I've got quite a big garden. It's maybe 10 meters by 10 meters. We have a large veggie patch in there, and we have like carrots, onions. I've got bramble section. We've got straw. We've got all sorts growing there, as you'd imagine. But if you look out my window, mate, you can see maybe 8 gardens. Nobody else, mate, grows anything.
No, it's
absolutely no one. And it blows my mind, mate, when you think everybody, like Mike said earlier about cost of living, why people don't grow their own stuff. Like it blows my mind.
Andy, it's honestly, I mean, we've been growing our own food for about 5-6 years now, and it's not the cheapest setup to do. So I understand that. You know, it's like you got to buy good soil, you got to buy equipment, you got to buy decent seeds, because buying seeds, crap seeds, is not going to wash.
Yeah, true.
Well, yeah, you buy heritage or heirloom seeds. You can grow the veg, grow a tomato, heirloom tomato, take the seeds out of the heirloom tomato. We've been growing the same heirloom tomatoes now for 5 years, and they're all coming from the same plant. So it's a recyclable thing. So we stopped you buying seeds. So the initial outlay is not like your 35 grand for your thing, Brian, but it's like it's definitely going to cost a few quid for the whole setup of it. You know, but it's like once you've done that, and again, we could have really shit weather one year and grow nothing. You know, so you've got to have a backup. So this is why we preserve our food, and this is why I'm saying to everyone, like on the channel, it's like learn to preserve. Get a water bath canner. It's like 30 quid. You know, and learn to preserve your food, so you can grow your food, forage it, and then you know, sort of preserve it, so you've got it for years.
It's a good prep for you, Andy. If it's not like a major event, you know, it's just a gradual decline, is maybe keep a pack of seeds or a basic pack of like several different seeds for them neighbors. So when they come knocking saying, how do you grow stuff? Because we need to do it now, you can just say, there's a pack of seeds, there's a little instruction book, and you could watch all 10 of them gardens produce the yield, and then you can go and tax them a potato or whatever, you know.
you can have some of my seeds, but I want 20% of your crop.
Exactly. There you go. So it's investment. It's how society is reformed.
I like it.
But yeah, it's a good prep to keep hold of. Somebody comes knocking, asking for your potatoes, say, listen, I've nothing to spare at all, but I have got these seeds. Go and give it your best shot, you know.
Yeah, but most people, Mike, are going to be like, these don't taste like potato.
Well, that then we call natural selection.
They'd be looking for a beanstalk out the window the next morning.
Yeah.
I know.
Some people, I'd like to say can't, but shouldn't be saved. Some people just shouldn't be saved when it hits the fan. Quickly in the comments. If you guys see anything in the comments, then please let me know.
I can't even see the comments.
Yeah. The UK is a country with one of the highest mental health problems per population.
That's crazy talk.
Well, yeah.
But it's true. It's the way we are, isn't it?
It is. No, and you know what? That's probably one of my biggest concerns, like for generally people in general. I'm going to do another video on it soon about mental health side of things, because, I mean, I'm not going to throw a sob story off, but I've had a difficult time, like a few months gone by. And if I wasn't prepared, I wasn't a prepper, that could have pushed me over the edge. This is where people, you know, they can't afford to get the kids anything. They can't afford to feed themselves. This is where, you know, the government are driving them down the population purely with people taking their own. You know what I mean? It's just, it's scary. And more people should be preppers for their own health and safety.
But do you not think society conditions them to be that way? Because the first thing you hear out everybody's mouth is, oh, I'm stressed. About what? I mean, go and look up the definition of what the word stressed means. It doesn't mean
my 8-year-old told me he was stressed out today.
Yeah, it's nuts. They're all stressed. Fuck. Just wait till at the time when we were little, when a 40-year-old's chasing you with a wooden slipper, that's fucking stress.
Do you know
I know
right,
about stress.
It's literally, I've got to say, the prepping helped me get over my anxiety and stress. Because believe it or not, and people say to me, "Oh, like, well, you can talk to people really well. You can go online in front of loads of people, and like you do this and you teach people." And I said, "But I'm a mess." I said, like, literally, I said, like, I had anxiety attacks for years for no reason. I was on medication for 10 years. I don't take anything now for like literally like about 11 years. But I've been through all this, and knowing that you've got that little backup, knowing that when the things that would normally stress me out, oh my God, Putin's going to strike, World War III is going to happen. Oh, I got no money for food. It's like, all these things that are now I find irrelevant, because I found a way to get over those problems.
Yeah.
Prepping's a hobby and a pastime. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go on, Karen.
It's a pastime. It's an activity that can be and should be fun. It can be a social thing as well. It's like every other fun hobby or activity. It should enhance your life. It should reduce your stress levels. I'll look about and see things, and it makes me happy to know that I've maybe gathered a few extra things, because if something goes wrong, I will be less stressed. Where I'll be worrying about fighting you for a roll of toilet roll. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. It's also, sorry, Mike. It's when you're feeling down and that, and it's like we had it, because literally even this week, because we've all been a bit rough, and we've spent like 3 days in the house and not done anything. So the minute you go out and you do a bit of foraging, go and do a bit of planting your seeds, the mental sort of benefits that you get from doing these things is tremendous, and the rewards that you get.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, when you when you sat down teaching people and you yourself were in a mess at that stage, you kind of are pep talking yourself in a way. I did mental health talks on my first YouTube channel, which was Keto King, which was all about the keto diet, and it's when I lost all my weight and did my fitness side of things. And if you go back on that channel to like some early videos, there's a few titled about mental health, and I'm talking about it, and I am literally pep talking myself, and you can see it in my face and my eyes. I look back and I'm like, oh Jesus, I was in a bad place. But yeah, you in helping other people, you mentally help yourself, I would say. I'm 41 comments behind. I'm sorry, guys. New member, Dudley Edge. Thank you very much for joining the channel. It's really appreciated. Teleboy's in the house. Nice to see you here, Tel. Teleboy's also a moderator. He's been at the channel since like the very beginning. Prepping and learning new skills is a great way to improve your life. Gives me great peace of mind, says Reese Omega. Outlawed UK, a 4-day power outage and a majority of under 25s will be showing you what mental health issues are. This is very true. This is very true. I'm fit, not in a GP in 25 years. Not being a GP yeah, I mean, I've not been to a GP in about 9 years. It doesn't mean I'm fit. I just don't like doctors.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, that 9 years will be a good benchmark for trying to get an appointment nowadays. So good luck with that.
Yeah, if I'd have made that appointment before I left,
that's pretty much the wait time at 8 o'clock on the phone.
That sounds about right. Right, we have to go on to the last point on what's been going on this year. And we don't have a video for it because there was too much to chop and change together. And half of it's the intro to this anyway. And it's, of course, all the conflicts going on. It's the World War III that's not World War III. We don't call it World War III. Let's not talk about World War III. And it's not happening. kind of stuff. Yeah, it's the Ukraine conflict, it's the Israel-Iran missile exchanges, it's the conflicts going on all over the place. And I don't know how we got through 2024, Brian. Genuinely, where once Iran started launching missile barrages and we expected retaliation upon retaliation, how did that? I mean, I'm glad it didn't, but how did that not escalate more?
We're only ever one miscalculation away from things going badly. However, the powers that be know that if it ever went that hot, we're all going to die. So we're fighting lots of little proxy wars and taking little nibbles and hoping it never goes to the next stage. So the Ukraine crisis is the current one. Before that was Afghan. Before that it was Iraq. In between that you had Yugoslavia, Libya, Syria. There's always been a conflict. There's always going to be a conflict, and it'll always boil down to money in some way, shape, or form. That's just my cynical interpretation.
Yeah. But do you think that, Andy? Do you think this Russia-Ukraine thing? Obviously, I think when it first started, we all expected it to be over within a matter of months. We thought they'd get steamrolled. We're going on to the third year of this war. It's mental that it's gone on that long, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think anybody, mate, who had any semblance of who'd been in the military, mate, or people like Brian who take a serious interest in it, everybody knew he was never going to steamroll him because he didn't have the infrastructure, he didn't have the money, he definitely didn't have the troops, didn't have the weapons and equipment. So
he claimed to have, though. He claimed to have.
Yeah, of course he didn't. But as soon as you show your cards, your bluff's done. Which is why they're in the third year of this. Once Trump comes in, how much funding will be taken away from Ukraine is yet to be seen. But I agree with Brian. It has been World War III, and it's been World War III for a number of years now. And like you say, each state or each country's picked their proxy, and they've been feeding them to keep the fight going away from us. And I can't see that ending anytime soon, mate. The only way I can see ending is if Trump pulls all the funding from Ukraine and makes them sit down and hash a deal out.
Yeah.
See, they rejected his plan publicly yesterday, the Russians.
Oh, no, I didn't see it, mate, no.
The Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman said that they were not happy at all with what had been floated officially, unofficially, through the channels about what Trump's team had floated as the peace plan. So they've already poo-pooed that idea from the start. So, yeah, let's see how that goes. I think you'd be worried about China. Sorry.
The Russian oligarchs said that they were interested in that like a few days ago as well, didn't they? They said it wouldn't stand any sort of merit. But I don't know if that's blind faith in Putin or what. Dave, we'll come to you.
Well,
on your thoughts on the Russian-Ukraine war.
My personal thoughts, right? Now, it's very difficult when I look at things like this because I'm a critical thinker, and I don't think what the news tells me to think. I don't think what the powers that be tell me to think, the politics. I look outside of what they show you. Okay, now I was looking at something earlier, this will interest you. The aid gone over to the Ukraine has been saying like, what is it I've got here, 186 billion or something in total. Now, it's probably more than that now, but it's literally, this money's going over to the Ukraine, right? And what annoys me is our country is in a piss poor state. We got something like 350,000 homeless people in this country, and they're sending money over to Zelensky. And you know my views on that. I won't get your channel shut down. But anyway, the problem is, I've got to be honest, I don't believe it all. I don't believe a lot. And the reason I say this, because I've got contacts in, I think, is it Kiev, Ukraine?
Mm-hmm. Capital, yeah.
And so literally, they were saying, I said, well, what's going on? Only Facebook contact and stuff like that. And I said, well, like, this place has been bombed. And they sent me a video and they said, no, it's not. And I said, but this place has been bombed all over the news. And he said, no, it's not, mate. He said, we're like going out tonight. We're going clubbing and stuff like that. And I said, well, like the news. And it was the same as when we had the COVID variants. And I go back, I always mix these things up because I think if they can manage to shut down the entire world, what else can they manage to do, right? So I spoke to a friend in India, and he said, I said, we've got the Indian variant apparently here. He said, yeah, we've got the UK variant. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, they were literally playing off different countries against each other with the information. And I've got to be honest, a lot of it was bull. But anyway, the thing is with the Ukraine, what sort of war have we been in before or been involved in where Bono can go over and do a private concert for Zelensky and go and meet him? It's like, it's all too fishy for me. It's all too publicized. It's all too money orientated. So I don't get me wrong. I think people are getting hurt. I think innocent people get hurt all the time with these things. So you can't take away from the severity of it, you know, but it's like you still have to see through the smoke and mirrors, so to speak. And it's all right you saying that, like, oh, Putin's doing this, Putin's doing that, but they were on Putin's border after he told them to fuck off, basically. Do you know what I mean? So it's like they said, do not get involved. NATO, stay away from the border. Now all of a sudden it's all kicking off, but Zelensky's walking around sniffing like a mad one every interview. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, he's getting millions and billions going over there. You got Joe Biden going over there and touching him and sniffing him and stuff. It's like, I just don't buy any of it, mate. Unfortunately, I'm your black sheep of this podcast.
No, it's interesting. It's very interesting, the point where you spoke to somebody at Kiev and we're seeing something bombed that they've not seen. That's a very interesting one. I would definitely have to dig further into that one. The other conflict, though, Dave, is obviously Israel and Iran. Well, it technically was get the Gaza Strip. And then that's gone into Lebanon now and stuff like that. Israel seems to be just depowering Iran, because Iran's biggest power is in its proxies, right? With Hezbollah and stuff like that. So, I mean, is that... Go on.
Yeah, go on. Can I just say something before I answer that? Banned again. I love your comments on there. It's Bono, Epstein Island guest, Zelensky, dancing pervert. You are someone that needs to follow my YouTube. Anyway, I mean, the thing is again, we've got Israel. We've got Israel. Israel are at the center, believe it or not. And I think if you follow the breadcrumbs of everything that goes on in the world, Israel plays a big part in it all. Now, they always said that World War III would be started like Iran way. You know, Israel, Iran.
Yeah.
But I've got to admit, I think Israel is a bit power hungry and a bit power crazy. And I'm not sure why. But, you know, I think when everything comes down to the scratch, Israel runs the world. There you go. That's something to look into.
There you go. There you go.
Look into, get your conspiracy hats on and look into the roots that the UK has to Israel, that America has to Israel, that everyone else has to Israel.
Well, I think you just gained a few subscribers with that rant alone, Dave. So right. So, I mean, Andy, what's your thoughts on the Israel side of things? Obviously, we try not to go into the politics side of it too much, but the fact that they've decided after this whole Gaza incident to then push into Lebanon and just basically destabilize that entire region.
Just before I answer that, mate, I've on the Ukraine piece, I've got a friend over there now who's fighting over there, and he came back. He was back maybe August time. And when I saw him when he come back, he was absolutely jacked. And I said to him, like Dave was saying there, when you see stuff on the news and you see certain things where everything's being bombed, and I assumed it would be worse than when we were in Afghan. So when he come back and he was jacked, I said to him, "What on earth are you eating?" Because he looked well, like really, really well. And he said, no word of a lie, article like HGV lorries were turning up, and he said they would have like Morrison's on the side sometimes, or Waitrose if you're Dave, and they would pull up, and the entire HGV was just absolutely rammed full of food, and they would just take it off, and they would just eat whatever they wanted. And like Dave said, you've got people over here who can't afford the heating, or they can't afford to eat, and you're sending trucks full of food over. Like, it's absolutely blows my mind. But that was just a side piece. Now, I stopped. I was interested because I knew someone over there fighting. In terms of the Iran-Israel thing, mate, I went over there in 2000, I was over there in Israel in 2012 to do some bits when I was in the military over there. And the country itself, mate, was nice. The people who were there were great. It was a great country to visit. In terms of the war, mate, because I've been to Afghanistan, mate, I've been to Israel, and I've been to somewhere else over there. The entire dynamic, mate, over there, everybody hates each other. And when you're over here and you say, "Oh, I can't stand him" or "I hate him," over there, mate, the hatred runs like generations deep. Like, even if you took Israel out, mate, and you put somebody else in there, that entire region, mate, is still going to be the same. There's absolutely no winner in that place because everybody hates each other. Wow. Down to the bones, mate, to the core. It's never ever that entire region. And I mean, to be fair, mate, like Dave said, we played a big part in it because we destabilised Iraq, we destabilised Afghan. Do you know what I mean? So we've played big, but I've never looked into. I mean, I can't see anybody beating them, mate, in that region around where Israel is. They are the superpower in that pocket. I don't see it. Nobody on this planet, mate, is beating them, really. I don't think. When I was over there and I worked with the RDF, the stuff they had, mate, was light years above what we had. Yeah. And at the time when I was firing was classed as secret. So for the British, for what we had, what I was firing was top of the range. And I was on version 5. Over there, mate, they were on version 14. Yeah. Wow. So the stuff they have over there, mate, is absolutely crazy. So I can't see anybody, mate. But I'll have to look into what Dave said. I'll probably conspiracy out and look into some stuff over there.
Andy, I think the thing is like I saw a comment there that's saying I'm anti-Semitic, right? Which is actually not the case at all. The case is when I look at history and I look at the facts and I look at the connections, and this is what I'm not saying. I'm not saying I'm anti-Israel. I'm not saying I'm anti anyone. What I'm saying is if you look at the connections, then you will understand the power plays that are in place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah. Yeah, but like I say, mate, from when I was there, it's probably at the time, that was 2012. It was, and probably still is, one of the best countries I visited. Like, the people there were lovely. The country was great. I saw lots of cool stuff when I was over there. But there's nobody definitely, mate, in that pocket of the world who's taken and beaten Israel. They're just far too powerful.
Absolutely. They have a lot of backing.
The problem's historical.
Yeah.
After the Second World War,
absolutely.
When you fire them all in one country and move everybody that was there out the country, and then from the 50s, 60s, 70s right through, you've had all the Arab countries attacking them. I think October the 7th has been the last straw, and they've went, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just push right to the sea, then we'll push everybody down into Egypt, and then as soon as they did that, they went north. When it kicked off, I spoke to my brother about it. As we would normally do, we'll sit at the weekend in Tesco and have breakfast. And I said, this is what they'll do. They'll push to the border, to the sea. They'll push them out to the water. Then they'll push them down towards Egypt. Or they can't do that. So I'm not advocating whether it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you tactically, it makes sense. If they've got an internal problem, push the problem outside. They did that. And then they went north into Lebanon. All they're doing is clearing their borders. They're clearing the chess pieces off the board. That's how I see it.
There you go. Nobody's anti-Semitic in this at all.
Just opinions.
No, I'm just saying it to the chat. So his comment has been removed and he's been timed out, I believe. But it's we're discussing current events and what's happening. No political opinions either way, unless it's about our own government. And then we all fucking hate Labour, so you can criticise us for all you want. But yeah, it is what it is. And I mean, I just think it's mad how. What a year to be what a year to start a prepper channel, right? Because it's just been, you couldn't have done this like 5-10 years ago. It just wouldn't have worked. It's just been news galore.
Do you know what's more interesting off the back of that though, Mike? Look how many prepper channels actually started this year. That's more frightening than anything. Yep.
That's good. It's good though. It's good. It's honestly, I've never, when somebody says, "Oh, I'm thinking of starting a channel," people have said it to me like who have been following me for a while. And it's like, I don't know if they expect me to say, no, please don't. It's not a competition thing. The more the merrier. Definitely get the message out there by all means. I don't care if we all put out the same sort of video every week. At least it'll touch different people. Right.
You never know. One of them might be good.
The shit I put up with, honestly. Don't forget to go and subscribe to Dave's channel and Andy's when it's got going. Don't bother with Scottish Prepper. It's just shite.
It's all shite anyway. Yeah, I can accept that. That's true. That's totally true.
Right. Anyway, let's keep this funky free. No, I mean, it has been a mad year. I think we can all agree on that. So, I'm going to go around the table here. I'm going to start with Andy because he looks asleep. Hello.
I'm reading the comments.
I want your Mystic Meg, Septic Peg, your best clairvoyance predictions for 2025. What do we expect? Or not so much what to expect, or what are you going to be prepping for in 2025, or what do you expect to happen?
I think weirdly, mate, I don't remember, like growing up. I don't remember there being this many storms when I was growing up, and I'm not saying who's causing them or what's causing them, but I definitely think that is something that would maybe. But I mean, it goes back to like what Dave said yesterday, because I prep for everything. What the situation is that would cause me to use my preps is kind of relevant, like we've spoke about before. To be fair, mate, my Mystic Meg prediction for 2025 would have been that Trump would end what's going on in Ukraine. But after what Brian said, and the Russians have knocked back what unofficially he spoke about, that's kind of blew my prediction out the water.
But he's talked about ending that come, by pen or by sword, right?
Yeah, but I think that's Brad, mate. I don't think he's sending anyone in. I don't think that's no way. I can't see that happening in any metric. Him sending anyone over there. I think that would be I can't see it happening.
So everything's gonna be fine in 2025 then. Oh.
What?
Yeah, everything's going to be fine, and half the prep channels will disappear because there'll be nothing to prep for.
There we go.
Positive, I like it.
That's Andy's predictions. Brian, 2025, what can we expect?
More of the same, I would suspect. More grey warfare, more cyber attacks, more underfunded infrastructure problems hitting the water on the south coast, power failure, storm damage in the north and the west, and out of Westfield, if I was to call it, I would have a look at China and Taiwan. They're now up to 8 potential carrier/amphibious assault craft, and they'll be in a race to see if they've got enough things to move bodies before they can turn Taiwan into a porcupine to make it unfeasible in terms of a sea of dead bodies. So if I was a gambling man, a lot of chess pieces in that side of the country are coming onto the board. And if you were going to do something, there'll never be a better time. You've got North Korea's poking and supplying troops. Russia's tying up the West and NATO. If they're going to do it, they'll never get a better time. So I'm kind of thinking something might happen there.
Okay.
But regardless of what happens anywhere, how we prep will never change, because all your preps encompass full spectrum threats, more or less. Whether it's a power cut you're prepping for or a problem with your water, all your preps should and probably will encompass most things that are likely to happen.
There you go. Dave, 2025 clairvoyance predictions?
Well, I think Brian's pretty much on it. I think more of the time, I mean, I've got to be honest, it's like I prep for most things anyway, the things that I think are concerning for me. Now, I think, just trying to word, Agenda 2030, that's what I'm prepping for. Digital currency. There's even a gov.uk about Agenda 2030 and what their plans are for 2030. We've all seen the lack of banks in the high streets. The banks all closing down. I think digital currency will start coming in at some point, whether it's 2025 or not, and how that's going to affect us, I'm not sure, because everything will run off that if it does come in. Because I know the central bank were looking into a digital online currency for the Bank of England. Yeah. So it's and again, it's the sustainability thing, isn't it? They're looking at 2030, looking at the climate, what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating. It's there's a lot of things that are coming. That the little steps. Conspiracies aside, you can look all this up online on government sites, everything. But
is this the carbon footprint thing, Dave?
Sorry?
Is this the carbon footprint thing they're talking about? They're going to give you
digital ID, social credit score in the future. Again,
same as China.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people are saying it's a conspiracy theory and stuff like that. But when you look at the World Economic Forum and the links that they have as well, it paints a picture of the future. And I think, to be honest, it's how it's going to affect us, I'm not quite sure. But how we can prepare for that, again, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. There we go. Interesting. We've got quite a few predictions in the chat there while that was going on. I don't think this is a prediction, but Band Again says, do you think Bill Clinton likes Bento's pudding?
I thought he liked cream, personally. He certainly spilled a lot.
No name. 2025 will either be amazing or there will be a debt crisis for the USA. UK will have a recession come March/April under Chancellor Thieves. There we go. Rachel from Accounts is going to mess us all up. China take Taiwan is Pedigree Mongrel's prediction for 2025.
Possible.
More Bill Gates playing with weather machines.
We were just talking about that earlier. The fog.
Yeah. Fog, the powdery fog.
Do you want to buy a bag of fog?
Can I say something quickly, Mike?
Of course.
I think I just saw a comment from, I think it's Full of Hope, about profits into metals and preps, tangibles. Literally, I started stacking silver.
Okay.
Because it's fairly cheap, and I think, and everyone says to me, "Well, why are you stacking silver? It's got no value," but it's used in a lot of things, especially werewolves. No, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like silver is a tradable item. For instance, like I don't think it's as tradable as food or water or toothpaste or anything like that, but it's still worth thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, silver's used in a lot more things than gold is. And when it comes to like any sort of collapse and rebuild and stuff like that, although gold will always have that kind of value, silver's value is not just like monetary value, it's used. It's it's a resource that's used in so many things.
Mike. It's you can make your own colloidal silver, which is they use silver in the hospital and bandages and all sorts of stuff. So silver has medicinal properties as well, and antibacterial and stuff like that.
Can't talk about any medicinal properties of colloidal silver because that was a video I got banned. For
Did you?
That. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was giving unsound medical advice. So there you go.
Wow.
Hey, Dr. Mike.
The thing that worked. The thing that worked.
Dr. Mike, I did a video on Facebook and it's fine. I literally healed myself with silver and something else, literally a gash in my hand and an infection. And it's like, and everyone was like, wow. And then Facebook was like, you're a liar. I said, but like my fingers here, here's the before, here's the after. It's like, you know, what can you do, mate?
That is true. A bad gash can cause a nasty infection.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's something.
Jesus.
We
apologise. We apologise for Brian.
He set it up. What am I supposed to do? It was there.
2025, China continues to increase defense and influence de-dollarization, says Indie Scott Brian. Someone did ask for our views on cryptocurrencies. Anyone want to jump in on this? Anyone got an opinion on crypto?
I know nothing about it.
I know nothing about it, but I don't like something that I can't physically own.
Yeah,
so like I said about silver, I've got silver, mate. I started stacking silver a number of years ago, and I've got quite a bit now. I don't like the idea, mate, of having something on a virtual hard drive that someone else controls. It's not very like, and like Bryce said, I don't know enough about them, mate, but it doesn't seem like a wise move to me.
I always see, Andy, about the power, and people say they've got backups for it, but I thought if the grid went down, right, then all these computers are run on power. So even if they have backup power, that's only going to last so long. How does that work?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Who knows?
There you go. Our opinions on silver is on crypto is no. We just know. Hawkins has paid £5 for Brian's joke. Thank you for the super chat. That'll go towards the money we've lost from ad revenue for having Brian on the channel yet again. So yeah, 2025. I'm not going to say my predictions because I'm going to save that for another video. It's all content, right? I know that's cheating, but it is scary times. If you believe a lot of the preppers that the end times was going to be at midnight. And now it's going to be 2025, and you know the doomsayers are going to be in full bell talking sense again. So the one thing we didn't look at, which I did put a thing on here for, I believe, is it there? I didn't upload it, did I? No, I didn't upload it. Never mind. I was going to mention Dave's favorite subject was the solar flares.
I thought you were going to say dwarfs in latex.
Oh, Jesus, Brian. If you want to end the show, just say, stop trying to sabotage it.
UK by Atkinson's full of hope.
What's that?
Full of hope said UK by Atkinson's.
Oh, is that for the silver and stuff?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've looked
That
at
would be a good channel. Sorry, Mike.
Go on.
It's something I don't know much about. Is the collecting the precious metals. Probably make a good video if somebody could stick one up.
Yeah, I've seen that. I follow a couple, but they're always US based. I've not seen many UK people doing it, but yeah,
UK people get mocked quite a lot though, because because the silver market is actually crap, right? And they say there's no profit in it. It's actually right at the moment. You're paying more for silver than the monetary value you're going to get back off it. Okay, but the trading value and the apparent medicinal value of it is much more. If you go online and buy a bottle of colloidal silver, you're talking about 30 odd quid. Yeah, but you could make with one piece. I suppose you could make loads of it. But for trading, a lot of people don't rate it for trading in the UK.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I understand that because you're buying stuff at retail, right? And it's a future investment, so
yeah.
don't expect it. I mean, the other way of doing it, which I've seen, which I've started to do a bit, and I've got a little pot of junk, is
Just the coins.
Well, no, just scrap silver and coins that were minted that have got a silver content and stuff like that. But you can't go to a coin place because they know it. You know, you go to like Bygone Times near me and they know what it's worth if it's a silver one.
If I give one bit of advice, Mike, is go to the jewelers, because the jewelers are in the same boat. I spoke to one jeweler. He's gone, I've got a whole cellar of silver. He said, and I'm keeping it. He said, because one day it will go up. And I said, like that. And then I went to another jeweler's. He's gone, oh, silver's crap. And I said, like, oh, you got any silver coins for sale? So he sold me a 2014 American silver dollar for 20 quid, right? Minted like that. And I looked online and they're selling for between 57 and 60. So I bought a few coins off him. So depending on where you go, a lot of jewelers don't rate it, but some do, you know, for future investments.
Yeah, but I've genuinely been seeing charity shops and car boot sales and stuff like that, and picking up like old christening things, like, you know, like it's a weird little money box. Then you look at it and it's actually 925, or it's, you know, it's something you can use or melt down. I need to figure out the melting down bit at the moment. I'm not sure
I did a giveaway on my YouTube.
Yeah,
I did a giveaway of a solid silver coin on my YouTube about 2 years ago. I'll have to do another one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll let me know when you do another one. I'll take part. Right, I think that's about it for what we wanted to go through for the year. The chat's been awesome, but obviously, as usual, I'd like to go around the table and tell everyone who's new a bit about you and what your channel's all about, starting with you, Brian.
I do questionable content with really poor IT skills, predominantly technical-based preps, not concentrating exclusively on the power grid going down, but it's largely biased towards that. And I think the next video is due to be on a dehydrator. So it's still in the box and I've not used it yet. So hopefully before I go back to work, I'll do a video on dehydrating food.
Excellent, excellent. Dave, what is the Urban Survivalist? We've had a little taste of some of your politics on here, but sell yourself to the people. Sell yourself.
Well, on my channel, I don't do politics at all. So there's no politics on my channel. I don't cover it. Very rarely, I might put a post up. But we're basically what we call prepsteaders. So we're urban homesteaders. So we look at basic local knowledge and local skills. So I do a lot of urban foraging. I do a lot of growing our own food, showing how to grow our own food, bake our own sourdough bread. I do urban survival. So I do underground urbex and abandoned buildings. I review knives and gear. We have an allotment. Literally so much stuff. Have a look at it, check it out. More urban homesteading.
There you go. There you go. Andy, do I bigger you yet? Have you started?
Yes, mate, I have. So I put that community post out that you and Brian kindly shared for me. Thank you to everyone who answered the question. And I think the top one off the top of my head was why I prep and how I store my prep. So I've already started to do the groundwork on it. So I'm hoping that I'll have that on my channel by the end of the week, as promised.
There we go. We've got a date now, end of the week. We'll hold him to it. We'll shout at him next week when he's not done it yet. And again, thank you to Miss Worm and to all the moderators and to all the members and all the new members tonight. Thank you for the donations from Hawkins, the membership gifts from Full of Hope. It's been absolutely brilliant, your support throughout all of 2024. Special thank you to these guys, because they help build this. They help me build my channel with stuff like this, with the Prepper Fireside. And there's no way I'd have got half the amount of people on that I have without these guys supporting me. So thank you all to you lot for constantly supporting me as well. Other than that, Brian, final thoughts and goodbyes.
Goodbye, folks. Thanks for jumping on tonight. I know it's New Year's Day and you've probably got better things to do, but the chat's been lively. Thank you.
Dave?
Thanks for watching. Happy New Year, and I hope it's positive for you. Let's go into it strong.
Definitely. Andy?
Happy New Year, guys, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future.
Yep. And from me, Happy New Year. Thanks for everything, and we'll see you in the next one.
Round the fire, warm and bright, stocked up food for the night. Got our plans set in gold for the days when it's cold. Tools and gear stacked up high in the cabin we reside, listening to the winds howl, prepping for the morning's prowl. At the purpose fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night. Water stored in jugs and tins, bunkered down through thick and thin. Maps and routes all drawn and laid, preppers live unafraid. At the purpose fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night. In the glow of embers dance, we've prepared for every chance, living simple, living true, with the dream we all pursue.